Why you should think of your physical workspace as being a person? Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. I know the title was a little confusing, but today I want to talk to you about this idea that your physical workspace should be treated like a human being. And I'll get to that in just a second. Before we get into that, I want to thank this week's sponsor of The Future in 5, which is Prism. Prism is PRYSM.com. They are in the business of creating beautiful visual workspaces on small screens, on big screens, on medium-sized screens. And you name it, they do it. Now, a big part of the future of work is all around technology and the physical workspace. And that is really where Prism excels and where they succeed. And I think a lot of what they're doing, we're going to see much more of inside of our organizations. So imagine being able to go up to a wall and to manipulate information, or just having access to information at your fingertips that you can literally maneuver and swipe and send to other people and access and change. It's really cool stuff. And it is very futuristic, and it's a big part of the future of work. So if you're interested in checking that out and seeing what I'm babbling about, visit Prism, P-R-Y-S-M. Get a cool glimpse into the future. I would greatly appreciate it, as would they, because they are making this video possible. So back to this week's topic, which is treating your physical workspace like a person. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you and I, we're going out on a first date right now. Lucky you, right? So let's say we're out on our first date and I show up, kind of like this. I'm in a t-shirt, I'm casual, hair's kind of combed a little bit. You get this kind of first impression from people that you meet on a first date, on a first interview, on a first encounter, first whatever. And usually if people are a little disheveled, if people are a little, unkempt, you kind of get like a weird feeling about them. Whereas people show up and they look good, you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into putting themselves together. You kind of have a different vibe and a different relationship going with them. And I think we need to think of our physical workspaces in much the same way. So when we design our organizations, we need to think of it as when employees come in, they're coming in for this kind of a relationship. It's the first date. So what are employees going to think when they walk into your building? If they see cubicles, if they see everybody in a suit and tie, if they see that it's very quiet, nobody's communicating, nobody's collaborating, if the walls are all painted white and it looks like a hospital, that is the first impression that you get when you walk in. That is where employees have to spend all of their time. What kind of a vibe does that get off? You probably might think of that and saying, all right, well, this is probably a little bit of a conservative organization, probably a little bit boring, a little maybe process-centric, a little bit status quo. Maybe there's not that much excitement and cool stuff going on here. Now imagine you walk into another organization where the physical workspace is designed very differently, where you have walls where you can write on them, where you have touch screens, where you see that there's open plans, where you see that it's a little bit more casual and people are walking around and engaging, interacting with each other. And when you see that there's multiple ways of how employees are working, that immediately clicks in your head as, all right, well, this seems a little bit more innovative. It seems a little bit more exciting. It seems a little bit more like they are comfortable with risk. They are comfortable with challenging the status quo. Those are the different types of associations and things that come to mind. Now, that's for me. It doesn't mean that those are the same things that come into your mind. But the goal behind this is to think of your physical workspace like a person. What is the vibe that you want to get off or give off? What is the persona that you're trying to create if your physical space is like a person? Is it that kind of cool, casual, hip kind of vibe? Is it very conservative and, suit and tie, process-centric? Think about that. I think if you think of your physical workspace as being a type of a person that you can maybe even give a name to and give some kind of a persona to, you'll start to look at your surroundings a little bit differently. You'll start to think of your physical space a little bit differently, and you'll maybe want to make some changes and some tweaks to it. And I think that's what a lot of forward-thinking organizations around the world are starting to do. I don't know if they're actually thinking of their physical workspace as being a person, but they're starting to put together that relationship of, well, when an employee shows up, what's the vibe that we want? I mean, what is the type of energy that we're trying to create? What is the impression that we want to give off? I think that's what we need to think about when we think about our physical space. It's not just about functionality. It's not just about utility. It's about that kind of that vibe, that connection, that relationship that we want to create. So I'd love to hear what you think about that concept. Does it make sense? Have you seen any cool examples of organizations that are doing that? And what pops into your mind when you think of walls and cubicles and white walls and nobody talking? And what do you think of when you think of like a Facebook or a Google-like campus? What pops into your mind? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you want to get access to more videos, podcasts, articles, newsletters, other fun stuff that I'm doing, you can text the word future to the word 44222. So again, the number is 44222, and just take out your phone and type in the word future. Send me a text to that number, and it'll automatically add you to the newsletter where you get all these latest videos, podcasts, etc. You can find me on Twitter at JacobM. And if you are interested in sponsoring an episode of The Future in 5, email me, jacob@thefutureorganization.com. That's it for me for this week. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to visit Prism, PRYSM.com. Get a cool glimpse of the future and what a visual workspace looks like. I would greatly appreciate it. They would appreciate it as well because they are making this video possible. So thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.